So I've been scammed twice, at least twice since moving to Florida 2 years ago. Because what happens is I get desperate for help and I can't find good help. Somebody comes along who sweet talks me, and the con artists are very sincere sounding, and they sound very honest, and they sound like they're on your side, and they're just really convincing. And how they do that is, even if they're young, let's say even 16 to 22 years old, um, they they do that because that's what they grew up with. It's what they've seen probably in their family, from their parents. They learned from it, or relatives, close people they're living with. They learned it because they have been doing it all their lives. That's how they have been getting their way for a long time. Um, because even if they're 18, that's still a long time to learn how to be a con artist. All it takes is maybe a couple years to really get it down, probably. And so I'm going in this journey recording, I'm going to go over what I learned to try to help you avoid being scammed by somebody wanting your money somehow. So some of the things I learned is be very careful about hiring somebody just before Christmas, especially the whole month before Christmas. Scammers often have family members they can't afford Christmas gifts for, or Christmas travel. They don't have the money, so they're scouring places like Craigslist and anyone posting a help wanted ad for whatever miscellaneous help you may need. They could be posting ads on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, soliciting your business, saying that they're an expert in something like landscaping or car repair or whatever, that the service that you're looking for. They're waiting for you to give them a call. So here's some of the things to look out for. First, check to see if what you're wanting to hire them for requires a permit. If it requires a permit, then that person has to be a licensed contractor. And in your state, you can check to see if somebody has a license or not by looking up their name. Just their name alone, you'll be able to, and if there's a duplicate name, then you'll probably need their middle name or address or something like that. And also see a phone number and that website. You'll just have to type it in search engine like Florida contractor search, something like that, and you'll get that information. Beware of a .com or .org type of a domain when you're doing that search. Be sure to only trust a .gov government, because no con artist can forge a .gov website. Also, when you're searching to hire somebody, you can check the BBB, Better Business Bureau, in Florida, sunbiz.gov, to verify that they're local or out of the area, and see if there are other complaints about them. When hiring somebody, hire them for one job at a time, not for a whole group of jobs. So in other words, do one thing at a time and go from there. Never pay cash. Don't use check or Zelle, Z-E-L-L-A or Z-E-L-L-E, whatever how it's spelled. Only use a credit card or possibly PayPal, so that the transaction can be recorded and also can be disputed if they commit fraud against you. Contact your local city government licensing board or the permitting department to see if what you're looking to hire them to do requires a permit. If it does require a permit and you pull the permit yourself, that's a bad idea. Do not pull the permit yourself, because all the mistakes they make, you will be responsible for. If they pull the permit, they're responsible for all the mistakes they make. Some of the mistakes they make could be extraordinarily expensive to fix, because the city will get on your ass about it and make you correct it if it isn't done right. Possibly the most important thing of all, you see this thing here I have on my screen. You want to take a picture of that or copy it or something, and make sure that something like this is in your contract. Now, I'm not an attorney, I can't give legal advice, but you could consider putting this in your contract, because what happens when you put that in your contract, and unless it's a really solid, legitimate company you know has been around a long time and you trust, and you're using their contract, then they're not going to let you put that in there, and you probably don't have anything to worry about. But if you're hiring some unknown person that, let's say you're desperate, you just need somebody to do a job, you can't find anybody, this is the only person willing to work, like I've run into, and every time I'm desperate I get scammed, you're gonna it would be probably very wise to put that in your contract, because if you don't and you come after them, it's likely, if you take them to small claims court, which would be the likely path, because regular civil court would be cost prohibitive to hire an attorney and all that crap. So if you take them to small claims, you don't have to hire an attorney, but you may want to consult with an attorney anyway. But anyway, so especially for like I said, for someone you're not sure about, be sure to put that in your contract here. What I have on the screen: breacher of contract will pay court, attorney, travel, 65 cents a mile, etc. fees. You could even go as far as to change breacher to the person's name, or just leave it blank and then fill it in. But that little short sentence could allow you to recover a substantial amount of money. Now, to go a little further, what you could do is put in $50 per hour of time lost to collect. So something like that, you got them by the freaking balls. I mean, you put that in the contract, they may not even see that. You got them. I mean, if they breach the contract, you go to court, you can just you can just chill out and just be calm and cool and collective, not have to worry about anything, and you're going to get all your money back. Unless in some rare cases where they just don't have any money. A lot of people who con you just don't have shit anyway. They have nothing to lose, that's why they're doing it. They probably have a big criminal history, and they don't have anything to lose. But put that in there anyway, and then you'll be covered if you pay your court fees and you travel a long way to the civil courthouse, parking fees, all fees associated with loss of time and collecting. Something like that. That's really solid. You're covered there, I think. You can consult with an attorney, but I don't like attorneys. I have a lot of legal experience, and that's how I came up with this, but I've been asking some attorneys, how do I know what to do about when I hire somebody, and if they breach the contract, and whether small claims is ever a good idea. Very few or no attorneys come up with this that I do. I'm creative. I come up with this stuff. That's why I'm running for president, right? Do you see? So because I can solve all these problems. All right. So also, what you want to put uh, in your contract is a detailed. You want to get a detailed estimate from them, not just materials, but also installation. Completion date guarantee or full refund within 5 business days. I already mentioned that. To pull permit, pass final inspection if applicable, before final payment. So don't pay your contractor in full until they pass final inspection, if a inspection is required. Okay, that's the heart of it there. Okay, check this out. This is also what I've been learning. I've been through a lot of legal school, and I don't even remember being taught this, but a police officer just recently told me this, is that the reason why con artists get away with so much of this crap, for one thing, because most of us don't put this breacher of contract will pay fees in our contract, so they know it's not worth our time. But if you put that in there, it is worth your time, because that's what they agreed with. And so that's very important. I just learned that recently. I think I kind of knew about that before, but I was reminded recently by being conned twice. So the con artists usually have no trouble signing a contract, and they're not going to expect for it to say that they pay collection fees, so they may miss it if you have them sign the contract. So you may want to kind of put that on the bottom right above their signature. Oh yeah, also the end of the contract, I have read and understood the above, read, agreed to and understood the above, something like that. And let's see here. Have given a copy of this contract. So also, you don't have to have it notarized. I mean, that would be nice, but it would probably scare them away if you did that. So just oh yeah, another big one is a copy of their driver's license, not expired. Okay, so take a picture or a copy of their driver's license. If they're questionable, I mean, if the job is $20, don't do any of this stuff. But I'd say if it's, I don't know, whatever you're not comfortable with losing, maybe $100 or above, get a contract. But what I was getting at is the difference between civil and criminal law is seems to be more like I go into Walmart and I put an item in my pocket and walk out. I could be arrested for that. But you would think a lot of times the civil theft would also be criminal, but it isn't if there's any kind of an agreement. So as soon as you and somebody else have an agreement with something, whether it's verbal or in writing, for example, you agree to fix my car for $200, and I hand you $200 cash, and you take the money and run. So can I call the police and say, go arrest that person? He stole my money. If there's a if that other person has any proof that you entered into an agreement or a contract that that person is to fix your car, that would be civil. They stole your money and that's not criminal. So $200 they run off with, the law calls that civil, even though it's blatant theft. But if I go to Walmart and I accidentally put something in my pocket that's only worth 50 cents, I go to jail. So there's something favorable about our legal system, favorable for con artists to get us to hire them. As soon as you hire them, that turns into a civil matter, and you can't really benefit from the police or sheriff, state trooper, whatever, law enforcement. You can't benefit from them. A police report, useless. They say, oh, that's a civil matter. You're in a contract. You agreed to hire them. Now you got to go to court, civil court. And then that severely complicates everything. Except in one case, which happened to me recently, I hired somebody. They stole about $2,500, and because that was half of the payment up front to do a job, and they said they had a license, and the job required a license, which was a culvert install in a ditch on one of my properties, and then the person who said they're a licensed contractor took the money and ran. I tracked them down and filed a criminal charge against them for impersonating a licensed contractor. And my local police in Northport, Florida took that very seriously. Maybe also because of my background too. They can check to see that if I'm they can look me up and see that I'm affiliated with FBI or something, and so maybe they take me more seriously. But anyway, so they went after him. They put a warrant out for his arrest. I was surprised, and they arrested his ass on a $2,500 bond, which is the same amount he stole from me. And he has to be arraigned. He has to go to a court for an arraignment soon, and then I'll find out what's going to happen then for a second-degree felony. That's what that is. So I got a second-degree felony charge against an individual who scammed me. So I'm kind of the wrong person to try to scam, because I do go after people. I don't know if I'm going to get the money back or not, because I'll probably have to take him to civil court to collect. But had I had this stuff in the contract that I'm presenting to you right now, not as legal advice, but as something to consider. That's my way to get out of saying I'm giving legal advice. I can say, you can consider that if your attorney agrees with it, or something to that effect. So I know this is a bunch of rambling for 20 minutes, but it's extremely important stuff that I thought I would share with you. Okay, so here's the sting operation I was involved with in Northport, Florida, where this individual right here is the one that didn't install the culvert that I paid for and wouldn't refund the money, and didn't have a license. And so but the reason I didn't bring this page up to show you that, but since it's there, I went ahead and showed you. But scrolling down, they give you some really good tips in Florida, some phone numbers to call, website, only hire licensed contractors to see ask for their license, and it explains how to get proof of the licensing. Check with your insurance company before you sign a contract with a contractor to make sure the insurance will even cover it. Obtain multiple bids. Beware of contractors who claim to be the cheapest, solicit door to door, or give a post office box instead of a street address. So there is why you want to get a picture of a driver's license that is not expired, so you can get their current address, because I don't think they allow a post office box on a driver's license. I've already mentioned that one. I've already mentioned this one. Here I can go further. Don't pay more than 10% down. That's very valid. And the reason why there's no, they don't, the people you hire don't have an argument to collect more is because if you, the person who hires them, fail to pay upon completion, they can put a lien against your house if they're a legitimate business or contractor. If they're illegitimate, they can't put a lien against your house. So the ones that are asking for a lot of money, that's a red flag that they're not legitimate. Avoid signing anything stating insurance benefits will be paid directly to the contractor. There's a good reason for that. I think it's because if you sign something like that, then they get the money and you don't, or something like that. I don't know for sure. That's very thorough. Some 25 minutes of extremely valuable information. I hope it helps you.